AC Sports Live is brought to you by All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. Earn your Class A and Class B license and endorsements with courses online and in person in the city of Long Beach. Call or visit the website 909-708-4861, www.allincdotraining.com. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or just want to change a career, scholarships are available, so don't worry about the cost. Give them a call. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Mood Swing Apparel, DEM Clothing. Dominate every matchup, period. Check them out, Mood Swing Apparel on Instagram. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Cannon Nation Boxing. If you want to learn the sweet science of boxing, or if you just want to get a real good workout in, working out and training with pros, check out CannonNationBoxing.com and become the best version of yourself today.
He ain't never slumber, never put him to the test. He be reigning king forever, resurrected after death. All praise to God, brother, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, all praise to the one.
Yes, sir.
Test 1 2. Testing 1 2. You are watching AC Sports Live on a Tuesday night at 9 p.m. like we always do about this time. Let me make sure my audio is good. Shout out to those on Instagram. You can't see the graphics, but you can see the show. I invite you to click over to YouTube or Facebook, type in AC Sports Live, and you will be tuned into the show, and your comments will be on the show. I can't grab the comments from Instagram, but I see you. I see you, Nanotech and Gab9. Appreciate you guys on Facebook. I appreciate those watching live on YouTube and on Twitch. It is a beautiful thing. It is another episode. This is actually the last episode of the season 6. So this is episode 20, season 6. We've been going strong since 2020. Dr. Frazier online on Facebook. Good evening, good sir. A little bit late. We had some technical difficulties, as sometimes it happens that way. They don't want to see us be great. They don't want us to be great, and they're blocking. They're hating on you. You're hating on your boy, and it happens, man. Let me turn down my mic. I don't want it to be distorted. I want the product to be A1. I want it to be good looking, sound good, production good, all that good stuff. For those on Twitch, make sure you follow, make sure you comment, whatever floats your boat. Tonight's show talking about NBA Finals. I think we got a series, man. If the referee is going to help like that, this might go 7. And then, is it safe to be in New York? Is it safe to be a Spurs fan in New York? It was crazy. It wasn't safe on the court. It wasn't safe off the court. And it's never that serious, man. It's sports. It's entertainment. It should never get to that, but it did. We'll talk about that. Other big story is the Texas Tech quarterback Sorsby has been granted eligibility even after confessing to thousands of bets on football games and other athletic events, including his own games, and he only gets a 2-game suspension. I don't think that's going to hold up. I think that's going to get revisited, and I don't think it's going to be good after they really check it out, because that's unreal for a person who's admittedly betting on athletic events and his own. At that, my man said thousands of bets when he was at Indiana, including. So I was like, hey man, I don't think this is good, because you're talking about the integrity of the sport, the integrity of the game. This is not the WWE. The game can't be scripted to that point, so a lot is going on in that story. A lot of videos came down my feed, a lot of Unk season requests, so we're going to go back and bring that out for the last episode. Unk season is back tonight. Tender Love, we'll have to nominate our Tender Love nominee for this evening. But off the top, the NBA Finals. The Spurs were dead in the water going into Game 3, and they pull out a win, 115-111, in the Mecca, in Madison Square Garden, of all places, where the tickets were $4,000 on average, and some tickets were over $100,000. So the stars were on hand, millionaires were on hand. Everybody was there to see the Knicks lose to the Spurs and the refs. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I don't want New York to win because I'm a Philadelphia Sixers fan. But I do want the Villanova kids to win. So I'm kind of torn. I like Jalen Brunson. I like, Josh Hart and those guys who went to Villanova. I feel sorry for Dante DiVincenzo, because he was part of that quartet in New York, and it would have been a lovely thing had the Philadelphia boys all won a championship together. And I think the New York fans are desperate for a chip, and this is why we see what we see in the streets of New York after the game. You can either blame the refs, you can blame Karl Anthony Towns for not showing up in the fourth quarter, you can blame y'all's president for showing up and taking the luster off the pregame, and then throughout the game him being asleep was not a good look. Him being a lifelong Knicks fan, bad juju in the air when the home audience boos and you try to make it more than what it is, and you took away from the oxygen in the building. Bad juju, man. The guys haven't lost in 14 games, and then the one game they lost. You can't blame that. But I do expect to see Game 4 to be even more turned up, more physicality, especially by the Knicks, because the Spurs got away with a few calls. And then the referees called a few calls on the Knicks that were pretty bogus. The flagrant one on Jalen Brunson, closing out on a three-point shot and turning around to go rebound or box out, and they called that flagrant one. I don't know what that is. I know you can't enter that circle of a jumper and his feet landing without you being in his step zone or whatever it is. That should not be a flagrant foul. And then Brunson grabbing Wemby's jersey, and Wemby gets to shove Brunson in the back of the head. And then I want to say Castle runs over Brunson. My question is, where are the Knicks goons? The New York Knicks used to have goons. Thank you, Dr. Fraser. Bridges. Mikal Bridges. I forget about the other guy. Shouldn't there be some Knicks goons on every roster they ever put out? Like, there should always be protection for the star player. And I'm not saying I condone goon activity, but there should be some enforcers at this point, at this phase in the season. If you are not protecting your star players, like nobody came to the rescue. Where is Anthony Mason? Where is Childs? Where is Charles Smith? Where is Patrick Ewing? Where are the old Knicks? Where is John Starks? Who else was a goon on that team? The whole team were goons. The Detroit Pistons have some goons. You need to have somebody that's going to jump up in the face of the opposition to make sure that star player doesn't get touched like that. He went, and I think if they watch the film, and I'm sure they're going to watch the film, and they're going to come out and they're going to put some elbows and some physicality on Wemby. Now they can't really put too much to Stephon Castle because he actually brings the physicality. He plays that way. Wemby is kind of lightweight still, but he has the mentality that he's stronger than he looks. So it should be very fun to watch. And that's my whole thing, man. They're competing. I want 7 games. I don't know if we're going to get 7 games, but I want this thing to go all the way to the end because this is competitive. It's ugly. Dudes are out there away from the ball knocking each other down. They out there playing hard. They said Brunson had more turnovers than assists. Well, he was getting dealt with this game. It wasn't easy. He still had 30 points, but he still had to earn it. And I think as good as Karl Anthony Towns has been playing against Wemby, he didn't show up in the fourth quarter, and it really showed. It really did not help that he had less than 5 points again. I think that's consecutive games where he has not showed up in the fourth quarter. He's doing an excellent job versus Wemby throughout the game. He's being ferocious and he's playing a brand of ball that I can respect. It's just in the fourth quarter, he does not find a way to get involved because it's Brunson time. The fourth quarter is Brunson time. Just admit it. And it's just what they've become accustomed to. Shout out to those people on Instagram. I'm going to log off now. And if you want to continue to watch, please flick over to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Type in AC Sports Live and you're welcome to join the show. Your comments will be on the show. So I'll holler at you. I see you, Aaron. I see you, Sasha. I see you, Norwalk High. I see you, Damani. I see you, Pink Hats. I see you, Giuliani. I see Big Zion. I see Drew. I see Elijah. I see Chaz. All y'all, click over to Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. Holla at your boy. All right, now back to so the violence after the game. We already talked about the tickets being $4,000 each. That's ridiculous. People taking out loans to go to the game. What is that? Talked about the bad luck from 47. The pressure on the New York Knicks for Game 4. You thought the pressure was high for Game 3. Game 4. Talk about a must win. He had the Knicks fans saying Knicks in 4. Jimmy Mack said Knicks in 4. I said Spurs in 5. I have to take that back. Based on what happens tomorrow, if it goes 2-2, you got to reevaluate. I will make my prediction after tomorrow's game. Going into it, I had Spurs in 5. I've been wrong. Last week, I said no one's going to beat the Knicks. And then I saw the Spurs whoop OKC the way they whooped them. And I said, okay, who's going to beat the Spurs? So the best 2 teams are here. If the refs back out and let them play, this will be the Spurs championship. If the refs call it fair This should be the Knicks championship. But again, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. And see what happens. What I don't want to see is what I saw after the game. And OG Jeremy Freeland was that, man? Where you been? Can't wait for the Knicks to lose. As a Sixers fan, I can't wait for them to lose either. But what I can wait for is the violence that will be in New York City if the Knicks don't win the championship. They're going to be bad if they win it. But if they don't win it, I think it's going to be worse. Because now you got mad fans, not just happy that we're here and we got close. Because I'm not sure how I was back when Patrick Ewing and Charles Smith couldn't make a layup. But what we saw, and you know, when you watch the Warriors back in the day, and when a rival gang tries to get through your neighborhood and you had to take off your colors to get through peacefully. Well, every Spurs fan walking down the streets of New York were told to take off their Spurs jerseys like we were in 1978. They weren't trying to beat the guys up. Of course, some fights started, but they were trying to get the Spurs fans to respect New York City by taking off the Spurs jerseys. I'm a Philly fan. I don't even know if we do that. We just accost people to a point where they never want to come to Philly again. But I don't know if we physically put our hands on people to take their jerseys off their backs. And what do you expect guys to do? You go to the game, you expect some trash talk for sure. But this right here, destroying this man's jersey, and they're filming it like nerds with glasses and cell phones and vlog cameras. So this guy just gave in, but he was ready to fight. Where is this okay? Like what kind of foolishness is this, man? Where they do that at? I go to Dodgers games and we don't do that. We'll talk crazy to a Giants fan. Shout out to Barry Massey in the San Francisco Giants. But a dude wearing a Giants jersey to the LA game is in danger. He better keep his head down and keep it moving. If he keeps his head down and keeps it moving, nobody's going to bother him. They're just going to talk trash. One time my daughter wore a Boston Celtics jersey to Magic Mountain during the Kobe Bryant days. And I had to check somebody because they was like trying to talk trash to my daughter about her jacket or her sweater. She was only wearing it because of the color and that she was going to go to Boston for an internship. She doesn't know anything about basketball, but this guy on the tram was giving her the business because it was a Boston Celtics sweater. And I had to say, my man, chill out. It's not that serious. You don't play for the Lakers, and she don't even care about basketball. So as you can see, she doesn't know why you're mad. But I'm about to get mad if you keep messing with my daughter. You never know, man. So these dudes sweating these guys wearing Spurs jerseys. I'm just glad nobody got seriously hurt. I'm glad this guy gave up his jersey before it was a problem. It was already a problem. They destroyed this man's jersey. But this is somebody's person. You touch somebody's person and you don't know what this person is capable of. So going to the game is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an event. These guys have taken on a mob mentality, and it's making going to the game not fun. You almost have to go with the intent or the expectation of getting into a little scrap, which is not what you want. What if this man was with his mom or with his daughter If you're walking down the street with a Spurs jersey and you're walking with your daughter, say she's 4 years old, so you're holding her hand, walking through this crowd, are you saying he should not go to the game? What about the families of the players? I think the Spurs coach was walking downtown New York with his family, and the most he got accosted saying, "Hey, Knicks in 4." He was kind of like, just don't run up on me and my family with that, because I know guys are passionate, but still. Frazier says Stephen A looked sick. I had the Spurs in 5 too. It's gonna be interesting if the Spurs pull out game 4. NYC is wilding out. Reminds me of 1994 Rangers, but times 100 due to social media. So when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, and hockey is hockey up north, it's big time in those cities, Philly, New York, of course in Canada, guys go, they tear the city up. But basketball, and the drought that the New York Knicks have been in, and this is an exciting Knicks team that everybody is excited about. Who doesn't like big body Brunson? He doesn't complain. He doesn't flop. He plays hard. He's only 6'2", if that. His dad is a coach on the team. Big body Brunson is hard not to like. He literally got it out the mud. Second round draft pick out of Villanova. One of the toughest guards in the league. Are the Spurs going to do the same in San Antonio? No. San Antonio fans have won a championship in this. Well, when was the last time they won a championship? It's been with the Kawhi Leonard championship. So it's not foreign to them. And the last time they won it, they did not tear the streets up. The streets of San Antonio were safe. Yeah, they partied. They turned up a bit, but not like this. This is game 3. Tickets were $4,000 in the rafters. Sideline tickets were $100,000. People were putting up their house to go to the game, and they lost. So of course, temperatures were flaring. Everybody was hostile. But imagine the amount of security is going to be hired for game 4. Win, lose, or draw is going to be mayhem in the streets. And I saw a few fights that the police just waited for the guy to get tired. It almost looked like a WWE sanctioned event. The guys couldn't fight, so they were just like watching them get tired. And then they jumped in and arrested some guys. And I was like, what are we doing, man? You ain't getting paid. You ain't on the roster. And now you can't go to the game ever again. They're going to get lifetime bans, I believe. I don't know, man. People are so in love with their team. Maybe I'm not wired right. Like, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I'm supposed to be turned up about the Eagles no matter what. But I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm not trying to get banned from the link if I go to the game and I see a Cowboys jersey or a Commanders jersey or a Giants jersey. Like that movie Invincible, when Mark Wahlberg's girlfriend in the movie was wearing a Giants jersey to his game. She's from New York. She goes to the Philadelphia Eagles game and wears a Giants t-shirt. And everybody was giving her the business. And then her brother was like, calm down. Everybody calm down. And she was like eating it up because she was the villain. And so, speaking of villains, Wemby has embraced the villain role. But he says, I'm not Trae Young. Game 4 is going to be a movie. I can't wait. It's going to be fun to watch, man. Jeremy says, irony is Rangers finally won after 54 years. Now the Knicks trying to snap at 53 years. So 54 years is the number. So it may not be this year. Yeah, like I said, I'm torn, man. I want the Knicks to win so they can finally get their love. But at the same time, I don't want the Knicks to win because I don't want to hear any Knicks fans. And I could care less about San Antonio. I like Castle. He's from Yukon, my home state. He's a killer. Sam Penny, am I saying his name right? But I think he's a pretty good player. Was once on the Sixers, I believe. And, De'Aaron Fox, man. Guy's been working hard for a long time in Sacramento. Finally gets a chance to do something big, and they're ahead of schedule. And the Spurs have a opportunity to do something pretty sweet before time. And if they don't get it this time, where the other teams in the West get that much better and challenge them, because now we're seeing a blueprint on how to stop Wemby. And you can watch Cat do it. And Cat is not like the best big man in the world. He's not the best big man of all times. But if he figured out Wemby, then that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. So we'll see what happens, man. Rodney Sauce in the building, they got ahead of themselves. I think a lot of us did. When we see what we saw, and then we see it happen the way it happened, as they said, must win for the Knicks, and it didn't pull it out. Now, the refs didn't help. Rodney Sauce, you are a ref. There were a lot of calls that went uncalled, and a lot of calls that were suspect in favor of the Spurs. And the free throw discrepancy was talked about by Coach Mike Brown after the game. I've always been a coach that didn't look to the refs as a reason, like, oh, that's why we lost. No, you just have to play a different brand of ball and understand what's happening. If it was a little bit fixed, if it was in the favor of this going 7 games, because everybody gets paid if we keep playing, right? Like the NBA player said, millions of memories. If you want to beat the rig, you have to beat the team you're playing by 20. And it's not going to happen. These teams are too close. The games are too competitive. I want the Knicks to win, but I don't want Dolan to win. He's getting rewarded for owning the team like Death Row Records. Yeah, Dolan invited 47 to the game. They are both up their sleep. Dolan has been a terrible owner. From that incident with Charles Oakley, I'm just glad all the old Knicks can come to the game. I was so happy to see Latrell Sprewell. He was one of my favorite Knicks. Latrell Sprewell, when he was with Golden State, and then he went to the Knicks. Larry Johnson was one of my favorite Knicks. Charlie Ward. Wasn't too fond of Patrick Ewing and Starks, because I was a Jordan fan too. I actually met Charles Smith at an Athletes in Action convention not too long ago. But, I'm torn. I want those guys to have some happiness in their life. Clyde Frazier and all those guys. Oscar Robinson. I think the Spurs and the Thunder will be your favorite next few years. So the Knicks need to win this year. I think the OKC Thunder are done. Because we're done with the flopping. It was cute the first year. We're like, man, SGA is the man. Now I'm like, wait a minute, man. This dude be faking like it's soccer. I said, he falls more than Anthony Davis. He falls more than Joel Embiid. He falls when there's nothing to fall about. So I don't like all that falling, man. It's fake dramatics. They need to start fining him for those fake falls, man. All right, so switching gears. I don't know if I have a ton of time for topics tonight, but this one, the Texas Tech situation with Brendan Sorsby. Interesting story. Sorsby admits to making thousands of bets on sports. Thousands of bets, roughly in the range of $90,000. Including bets on his former team, Indiana, which violates NCAA rules, which bans him for life from the NCAA. However, Texas Tech appeals, and in a Texas court, the district judge granted him temporary injunction, which clears him to play this fall. This one screams of under-the-table bribe. A Texas judge clears a player who says he cheated by gambling on games that he played in, games he watched, games he was interested in, games he had a tail in. The same infraction that many athletes have been banned from their sport, including Pete Rose. And there's no proof that Pete Rose ever bet that he would lose. He always bet that he would win. But it was still frowned upon because now the integrity of the game has been compromised. So in this situation, there are a few players that we know off the top of our heads because it happened recently that have been banned from their sport. Jonte Porter was the brother of the Porter from the Nuggets. He was on the Raptors. He received a lifetime ban from the NBA. Tucupita Marcano from the Padres, lifetime ban for placing 387 baseball bets, including betting on himself. In football, my own Eagles brought this guy off of suspension, Isaiah Rodgers and Rashad Berry. In 2023, they were on the Colts and they were suspended indefinitely the entire 2023 season for betting on NFL games. So even if you're betting on stuff, that doesn't necessarily change the outcome, but it changes because you know inside information about people who might be injured, who might be having a mental situation, like all the information that a player has. So it's understood you don't gamble while you're an active player. In this case, Sorsby is only getting 2-game suspension. How do they come up with that? What is the rationale? His attorney claims if he's not able to play, he'll be a mental health risk. I mean, dang. All you have to do is claim mental health for everything? A mental health hardship? Whenever you hear the hot take word, the hot phrase, the courts back off, judges back off, nobody wants to be accountable because you just might cause someone to unalive themselves, or you might cause someone to have a mental breakdown. The last time I checked, if you do something dirty, you get dirt. If you do dirt, you get dirt. I placed thousands of bets on football, and baseball, and basketball, including my own team. And if you don't let me play next year, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I might just finish myself. And that Texas court judge said, okay. With that being said, 2-game suspension. So what does the NCAA stand for? Apparently nothing. So now nobody wants to play Texas Tech because they got a gambler playing quarterback, and there's a chance that he might throw the game because he has an addiction and he's playing without a suspension. So he's not going to learn his lesson. He's going to keep betting. He has an addiction. He has a problem. He already has mental health issues. He can't stop betting. And he's not the only one. He's just the biggest name, the best recruit in the portal. And he goes to Texas Tech for what, $2 million NIL? He might bet that. Sweet Brother Noomsy's in the building. Yeah, college sports is dying, if not already dead. I kind of want to see a Texas Tech game. I want to see. Mike says Knicks in 6. It's on the table. We'll see what happens tomorrow. The whole Big Ten and different teams from the Big 12 are threatening to go to court not to play them next season. Yeah, I don't think this 2-game suspension is going to hold up, because if money becomes an issue to all these other teams, which ultimately affects the bottom line for all the teams that play Texas Tech, I think it's probably more financially beneficial to all parties if he does not play. Chauncey Billups in his situation, I haven't heard any updates on it, but all those guys are in bad shape. Sweet Brother Numpsy said Leon Frazier, Spurs lose game 4, win game 5, and lose in game 6. So it'll be up 3-1 Knicks. Spurs win game 5. Then Knicks finish it off in game 6. What's the format, Mike? Is it 2-2-1-1-1? Because I know it's not 2-3-2. That was a monster back in the day. They just have to hop on that plane 3 times in a row. Frazier said he don't have a dog in this fight. Just want to see some good basketball. That's what I was sitting here watching some good basketball. My wife's like, who you going for? I said, I don't know. I just like when dudes scrapping a little bit. I got excited when Castle ran over Brunson. I said, oh, somebody going to have to retaliate and hit Castle because he hit their star. Not one Knicks player jumped up. Where are the goons when you need them? Something is going on behind the scenes at Texas Tech. They somehow beat out Georgia, Ohio State, and others for the top football players in the country this recruiting class. Money. Money got that judge to say 2 games. Did you see Texas Tech's walkthrough room? I got a video. I think I showed it on the show before. They have a 50-yard wide TV where the kids can walk through with the opposition on the TV screen in like life size walkthrough versus an offensive team coming out the huddle, and they can do all their checks and everything. It's an AstroTurf meeting room with a 50-yard wide TV screen donated by Patrick Mahomes, alumni of Texas Tech. They got money. Like Texas schools got money. Shout out to Tim Hood, who informed me of the hierarchy of Texas schools and who got the money. Texas A&M got all the money. University of Texas got all the money. And apparently Texas Tech got all the money. Remember SMU? They used to have all the money. That's how they got Eric Dickerson and Craig James. Oil money, man. It's 2-2-1-1-1, game 6 in the Garden. Those tickets might be $250K for the floor. Like Spike Lee, can he afford that ticket? I know he got lifetime tickets. I'm sure he's having a good time, but I know he don't want them to lose this championship. Mike Staff says, let me get this off the screen so I can see what he says. When Wemby mushed Brunson, I knew this was going to be their game because no one from the Knicks did anything. Knicks have no goons. That's what I was thinking to myself. The Spurs guards are all goons. If the Spurs would have pulled off game 2, it would have said the Spurs in 5, but Knicks aren't losing another game in that Garden. No more Orange Man in the Garden. Yeah, the Orange Man did not bring good juju. He was up there asleep. Fans were not happy. There was even a rumor saying that Josh Hart wasn't going to play if y'all's president would have showed up. He gonna say the fans loved me. I was a good luck charm, but the refs really screwed my team. You gonna say something wild, man? I promise you, man. Dr. Frazier says, sounds good, Mike, but the Spurs are going to be hard to beat in 7. If they get to 7, man, it's going to be, like you said, Mike, there's no goons. I agree, there are no goons. I think Jordan Clarkson is a goon, but he's too small. But I think he always about, after Kobe called him soft and quit acting light-skinned, he's been a goon ever since, like getting his whole body tatted up. Grew his hair all long. Now, he's the best dressed player in the league. And now he's just always turned up. He's always mad. But he's too small. He's not Chris Childs. He's not. Chris Childs will piece you up. I don't know if Jordan Clarkson has that. Shout out to my Filipino community. Jordan Clarkson in the finals. But he ain't a goon. The Anthony Mason types. I'll pop you in the mouth and mess with my best player. Sounds good. Spike Lee has season tickets. He's good. So season ticket holders, they still have to buy finals tickets, but they get a discount, right? Is that like Dodger tickets where you have lifetime? Well, you have season tickets, and then when the playoffs come around, you get first dibs. It ain't like they're included in the deal, right? If they are, then sweet. That's a good investment because now you can sell those tickets and make all your money back. Clarkson just had it. He's still a Pinoy boy. But my Filipino homies is about it. They from Long Beach. And he's not on the floor. Jose Alvarado can be, but he's too small. Cat ain't no goon for sure. Now, Cat is getting exposed for his fake tough guy. He gets tough when it's convenient. But then he'll go, oh my God, about that. Oh my God, about that. He been playing tough, but he ain't been playing tough in the 4th. And it's going to cost him if he don't come and play in the 4th. So that's unfortunate. What's really unfortunate, man, and that's Carmelo Anthony case, where the young man stabbed another young man at a track meet a couple years ago. So it's sad. Both young men, one is no longer with us and one is going to be gone forever, pretty much. So African-American young man Carmelo Anthony has been convicted of murder, not manslaughter, but murder. No self-defense, straight murder. And has been given 35 years with time served for 37 years for stabbing and killing Austin Metcalf at a track meet. And the entire situation is unfortunate. I feel bad for the Metcalf family. Prayers to them and as they get through it. But my prayers are also with Carmelo Anthony's family. Both of these kids were going to college. It was a situation that could have been avoided. And it goes to show you don't know what somebody's capable of. You don't know what somebody is going through. If I understand the situation from just people saying the story from different perspectives, from the students that were there, and then the parents, and then the attorneys, and it sounds like there was a track meet. It was raining. They had a tent. Somebody from that team invited Carmelo to the tent to hang out. Carmelo had his backpack. Carmelo brought a knife to the track meet because he felt he needed to have protection. I don't know the temperature of those teams in that area, but I believe it was an affluent track meet where this was not the hood. This was not a situation in Texas that needed to be monitored by a bunch of security. This was the affluent Texas relay track meet. And apparently Austin Metcalf asked Carmelo to leave the tent and then got up in his face. And I believe Austin Metcalf was bigger than Carmelo Anthony. And Anthony had his hand in his bag and said, don't touch me or I'm going to show you what I have. Metcalf said, you don't have anything. And long story short, he had a knife. So you push the young man. His fear jumped up and he cost himself his freedom, and he cost this other man his life. So what is our takeaway from this? 2 families destroyed. Metcalf was a twin, so his twin brother will never be the same. The family and the attorney say this was not racial. It's always racial. When you feel you can push people and they can't touch you or retaliate, that's a form of entitlement, bullying, whatever you want to call it. But this young man should not be dead. Just like this young man should not be going to jail for 35 years. I've been to track meets where we've had scuffles, we've had discrepancies, we've had disagreements at the tent, at the warm-up area, because, you know, emotions get heightened, and we were given the okay to protect our girls. When we went to the track meets, guys would like to hit on our girls for our team, from our team. We had, you know, new aerodynamic outfits. Our girls wore the smallest pants possible, so they would have the aerodynamics, and, you know, they were basically wearing their underpants to run. So a lot of times our girls would experience disrespect from some of the other teams. The girls would not be happy, and the boys would be super happy, and they would say things they shouldn't say. So our coach, Don Norford, was like, you know, I don't see and hear everything that's happening out there in the yard where we warm up at versus the other teams. But you boys, make sure you protect your girls, because those are your sisters, and they should not have to experience any form of disrespect. So any form of disrespect, you guys handle it. Now, he didn't say go over there with knives and guns and cause that kind of rift. He wants us to be visible. He wanted us to be forceful, and he wanted us to step in when necessary. And it was a big boy voice threat. We're not doing that today. Hey, bruh, you don't talk to her like that. And they might say, what you gonna do about it? And at that point, you gotta make a decision. But nobody's trying to die. We're just trying to get some respect. In this case, I think you had a kid who already was fearful because he brought a knife to a track meet. Who does that? A kid who has been bullied before, who knew the circumstance, and he was lured into this tent by a fellow teammate of Austin Metcalf. So was he set up? Who knows? But a jury that didn't look like him did not believe it was self-defense. He warned the kid, don't come near me, don't touch me. He touched him. So the spirit of offense was already on Mr. Anthony. All he had to do was show that he had a knife. I think it would have been over with. But since he reacted, he did not respond. We get what we get. Unfortunately, a family lost a kid, and the other family lost their kid to prison. So, moral to the story: parents, we got to know our kids before we send them out to do adult things, to be adults, young adults who make decisions that won't cost them their future. Just looking at Carmelo Anthony, his face lets me know he still doesn't realize what he did. If the shoe was on the other foot, of course, we would have had a different case. This is America. There are two Americas. In this country, a black youth is guilty until proven innocent, whereas a white youth is innocent until proven guilty. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's been. So we should not even get ourselves involved as if we're going to get a fair shake in the court system. That's where we mess up. That's where we forget where we are. So don't put yourself in that situation. One of my spiritual resolutions is walk in the land of the living. Don't put yourself in a situation that's going to cost you your freedom. If you can't fight, do not look for confrontation. If you're a scared little boy, you should not be walking around with a weapon, because if you get scared, you're going to use the weapon. And to take the lines from Pops and Friday, you guys today are so sissified. You're scared to take a butt whooping. You're so quick to pick up a weapon. Does that weapon make you a man? These make you a man. Put up your dukes if you have to fight. Live to play another day. But the ultimate resolution was to be smart. Dude doesn't want you in their tent. You know you're not wanted here. It's a problem. All right then, y'all. Dap everybody up and get on your way. Why does it have to come to this? And on the other side, if he was invited to your tent, stand down. Your teammate said, he's my guest. Calm down. Tough guy. Being a tough guy got you stabbed. Sad, man. The whole thing is sad. Ross said, I'm so tired of people trying to police others instead of allowing the people in charge to do their job. Let the track officials or coaches tell Carmelo Anthony to leave. It wasn't that boy's responsibility. Well, we know exactly what happened. Bigger, stronger kid telling the other kid, and we can take race out if you want to, but you can't. We've seen it too many times that this is what it was. Bigger, stronger white kid. Smaller black kid in the area. This is just like any other Karen or Ken phone call. What are you doing here? You can't park here. Why are you here? If he had a twin, where was his twin? His twin was there. His twin could have had his back and said, hey man, chill. It's not that serious. Didn't do that. He probably echoed. He was there. But what's done is done. And you don't even get a self-defense. He was called the aggressor. The last time I checked, the person who hits first or touches first is the aggressor. The attorney claimed you can't bring a knife to a push. But I thought in the state of Texas, you don't have to touch to be provoked. So I don't think it was a fair defense. I think he got shabby representation. And I'm not saying the kid is innocent. He shouldn't have had a knife at a track meet. But I believe it was self-defense. He would not have stabbed him had he not been provoked. Had he had not been touched, he would not have stabbed him. So it's the jurors that look like the person that got killed. Their opinion is that, yeah, he knew what he was going to do because he brought a knife to a track meet. He premeditated this. First degree murder. They didn't even give him manslaughter. He didn't go with the intent of killing that boy, so that's manslaughter, right? I guess I don't know the law. But at the same time, it's a reminder of where we at. When you have a weapon, it usually says premeditated. That's the law. But was also the law? Well, the law of the streets as you're prepared for anything. And in this case, he didn't go to the tent with the intent of having a problem. He didn't go to the tent and say, yo, where's Austin Metcalf at? He was talking to his friend. And he got sweated by somebody under the tent. So I guess knowing your rights is way more important. The only time self-defense rocks is if you're in your house and someone comes in. Because remember the young man who was eating Skittles, going to the store, and Ken didn't like that he was in his neighborhood and he felt that he shouldn't be alive. Just close your eyes and imagine that it was opposite, the other way around. That's my problem with it. So he shouldn't have had a knife, but he should not have had to use it. Sad that both families have to live with this forever. Sad, man. But I'm gonna pray for both families because they got a different life to live after this. All right, man. To end on a good note, to end on a happy note, it's a happy show. This is a happy show. Unk season. I found an Unk season person. I guess he calls himself Coon Boy. Coon Boy.
Hey, Coon Daddy.
Coon Boys Entertainment, and he's Coon Daddy.
I remember one night he called me out and I made him so bad. Mama was on the phone with him. Yeah, she was looking at him and I told him he ain't shooting no more.
All right, so I'm not sure what part of the South this is or where they at. But if a video had temperature, like it just feels like 104 degrees in this video. It just looks hot. It looks hot for no reason.
Oh, they gonna win.
So Coon Daddy is in a shooting contest with his grandson. His grandson probably got 3 offers to Mississippi State. He's shooting in the yard in house shoes. Coon Daddy has like 10 different vehicles and he's always working, getting off work. So I found my Unk season material for season 7. So Coon Daddy has seen enough.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. Yeah, he hit one. You didn't? God, don't look like it. I'm gonna look at that video again. I thought that joke went in.
You talking about country, man?
Bye.
No, you know. He all he had to do was hit one.
No, my net. No. Come on, I ain't shot all that worked all day. Jordan worked all day. Work clothes.
And let him know you ain't shoot on the home goal.
And I shot on what he wanted to shoot on.
On my goal, I shot on the way goal. I shot on his goal. I love my people. I love country old dudes, man. They are the funniest dudes, man. They are the happiest dudes. They're the most honest dudes. Them dudes make me laugh, man. I like those dudes. I saw another good story, man. Neighborhood dad.
Y'all ain't run to the stop sign.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And we stretched.
Okay, but y'all gotta do it again because I ain't see it.
This made me so happy. Here you got 5 neighborhood kids. At the crack of dawn, this man trained these kids one time. And these kids look forward to getting trained the next day. They had already done his workout. They were at his house, ready for the next training. The importance of a male figure in these young men's lives, man. I don't know their situations, but you have 5 little kids, man. And those smiles, even when he said, you got to do the workout again because I ain't see it. They were like, oh, man. But they ran because they wanted to show their coach that they could do it, or that they can, or they did do the workout. He said, we ran to the pole and back and we even stretched. This man can take these 5 kids from age 8 to 10 to when they're 18 and make them all productive young people because he has them in his hand. These little boys are so happy that somebody is feeding into them. And that's kind of what coaching and being a mentor is all about. They ran down there full speed, laughing, and took off and ran to the pole.
Yeah.
And he's going to go train them boys again. And I think that's what it's all about, man. Impact. Being a good influence, being a good father figure, being a good mentor. Those kids have a chance because there's a person that's looking out for them, trying to get them better. I like seeing stuff like that. I don't like seeing stories like Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. I don't like seeing the New York Knicks fans act wild like they ain't had no home training. I like seeing stories about a man who's training the 5 neighborhood kids who aren't his how to get ready for football season. That's what I want to see more of. That's what I want to see on my timeline. Protect your mental. Turn off the smut. Don't click on the foolishness. Protect what goes in your eye gate, man. At church, I've been teaching about changing your thinking. And it starts with what you allow in. I want to think on those good things, man. Those lovely things. Those pure things. That keeps me going, man. This other stuff, it's going to have us all with mental issues. And we're trying to avoid that. So, protect your mental, y'all. All right, that's my show, man. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Dr. Frazier says you have to know the law of the state that you're in. Amen. But you know what there's no law against? Love. If you know it's going to be a confrontation, you know it's going to be a situation. I appreciate you, Dr. Frazier. I love that too, man. I love that kind of stuff. And that's what I want to see. All right, man. Till next time. Y'all be blessed. And I had some more unk season, but I'm way past my time. I had a late start, but I appreciate you guys coming through. Show is brought to us by All In CDL Training, Cannon Nation Boxing, New Era Apparel. Shout out to James Washington, and the Norwalk Football Lancers are on dead period. So no, I don't have an update. They are taking these 2 weeks off. We come back and we got some passing league. We got some workouts to get in. And we might even take a trip to my alma mater in July to get some work in. So it's going to be an interesting summer, to say the least. All right, y'all. Be blessed. We'll see you next time. Peace.